I'm Kevin Frankish at Union Station. This is Martin Luther King Day in the U.S. It marks his birth in 1929 on this day. His assassination, though, in 1968 touched off the largest manhunt in U.S. history. But while police were looking for his killer, James Earl Ray, he wasn't in the U.S. He was stepping off a train here at Union Station. Back in 1966, this block on Ossington was best known as where Cassius Clay, or Muhammad Ali, had trained for his upcoming fight with George Chuvalo. Only 2 years later, a much more sinister page of history was turned here right across the street.
Direct from our newsroom in Washington, in color, this is the CBS Evening News with Walter Cronkite.
Good evening. Dr. Martin Luther King, the apostle of nonviolence in the civil rights movement, has been shot to death in Memphis, Tennessee.
What followed was the largest manhunt in U.S. history. Riots raged in 168 cities. 19 more people would die. All the while, the killer, James Earl Ray, was making his way quietly towards Toronto. For 2 days, James Earl Ray managed to elude American police, crossing the border at Detroit, took the train to Toronto, and made his way here to number 102 Ossington, where he knocked on the door looking for a room. He was wearing a suit, told the landlady his name was Paul Bridgman, worked in real estate. He rented this space for $8 a week. The couple that own this home now didn't know of its notorious past until just late last week.
So literally yesterday, because my husband and I are discussing potentially buying this building, so I started to do the research, and yeah, I learned that, sort of Googling 102 Ossington, and shockingly, that the man that murdered Martin Luther King fled to Canada, specifically Toronto, and then this is where he stayed, and it was shocking to me that, no one seems to be talking about a major piece of, to me, what would be Canadian history. These walls have some pretty interesting energy. These are all I'm assuming, the original brick walls. So the conversations that if these walls could talk.
He would live here only for a short time, but long enough to become a regular at this bakery down the street. And the Drake was his watering hole. The last he would be seen in Toronto was in the company of a mysterious red-haired woman, right here behind Toronto's new City Hall. He got what he came for, a fake Canadian passport. His plan? To flee to Rhodesia. But en route, he was finally captured 2 months later at London's Heathrow Airport, trying to get on board a plane with a pistol. Ray actually stayed at a few other addresses in Toronto before heading off to London. Now, following his arrest, the government of Canada made it much more difficult for criminals just to come here to pick up a passport. I'm Kevin Frankish at Union Station for City News.